This podcast is made possible by subscribers to The Australian and our principal sponsor, Harvey Norman. For over 6 years, Harvey Norman has been a key partner in my investigative podcasts such as The Teacher's Pet and The Teacher's Trial, The Night Driver, and Shandy's Story. I'm proud to have the support of Harvey Norman and its CEO, Katie Page, for our investigative journalism on cold cases that we believe can be solved. For more information on this podcast, go to theaustralian.com.au.
Sandstone Crescent, then arrive at your destination.
This is where Bronwyn was last seen alive.
Arrived.
And there's the house. You can't help but wonder what happened inside that night. What led to a woman disappearing more than 30 years ago. Pleased to meet you.
You too. Yeah. Come on in.
Sorry it's taken almost 6 years.
Well, that and about 30 plus.
Deborah Hall has welcomed me inside her house at Sandstone Crescent. This is where she and her partner, Murray, raised their children, and where their friend Bronwyn Winfield lived next door until her May 16, 1993 disappearance.
Can I get you anything? Cup of coffee?
A cup of tea would be great, thank you. I've been up at Kingscliff, I did an interview there.
Okay, yeah.
Deb and Murray were important witnesses because they heard and saw things at key moments. Bronwyn was very unhappy and she had confided this and much more to Deb as their friendship deepened. Murray, the son of a police detective, became highly suspicious and concerned for Bronwyn at a very early stage. Their children, who used to play with Bronwyn's two girls, have grown up, moved away, married and had children of their own. They all returned to Sandstone Crescent for family occasions. Bronwyn's fate is often talked about at these catch-ups. Bronwyn and the house cast a long shadow. John has a newer, grander house in Lennox. He sold up on Sandstone Crescent. His place is closer to his favourite beach, Boulders. It is a lot more valuable than the house in which John and Bronwyn lived with the two girls, Crystal and Lauren. Do you mind if I run a recorder over this? Yeah, thank you.
I don't have any problem with that.
Great. Do you have any other commitments this afternoon?
No, actually.
Bronwyn's good friend told me her reaction while listening to Lynn's case unfold in The Teacher's Pet in 2018.
Driving up the coast, Murray and I, in the car, and he's put you on, put the podcast on. He goes, "You got to listen to this." I'm like, "What is it?" He goes, "Oh, it's The Teacher's Pet." I had no idea. So I started listening, and I'm like, looking at him going, "Are you hearing this? This is almost our case." I'm like going, this is Bronwyn. This is Bronwyn. That was what prompted me to email you, and I hope you didn't mind me doing that. Because it was so similar. And I thought, I've got to just put it out there, not expecting that, because I know you're a busy man, getting back to me. And when you replied, I thought, oh, okay. So you obviously were a little bit aware of this situation.
Deb and Bronwyn had an easy rapport. They helped each other all the time. Bronwyn received comfort and support from Deb and other friends from whom you'll hear. They knew she was determined to walk from the ruins of her relatively brief marriage with John Winfield.
Watching Chris Dawson on TV is almost like watching John Winfield.
How?
So similar in terms of good-looking guy, physique, everything. You could almost be cloned, you two men. Knowing John the way I knew John, I'm like, God, these guys are just on the same path.
Well, I was really glad that you wrote.
I didn't want to overstep my mark and push anything when it's up to the family to kind of agree to that sort of thing. So I'm just so frustrated by the fact that this beautiful woman, who was a good friend of mine, is no longer with us and possibly at the hands of her husband. And the fact that, you know, the two girls have grown up without their mother. They've got kids of their own that she never got to meet. And Bronwyn was a very caring, very loving and beautiful person. She was a great mum. And this is why, in regards to what you've just done with the Dawson case, when I heard the story about her, I Bronwyn, she's almost identical to how Bronwyn was. And there was no way she would leave those kids. And I know that. And that's the thing that I kept saying to the police in the initial investigation. Murray, this is Headley.
G'day, Murray. Yeah, you too. How are the waves today?
Wasn't that good? No. I went out the wrong spot, I suppose. I should have gone off the point. Yeah, I went off the Boulders Beach. I got smashed a bit. But it was all right. I had fun.
Yeah, I've been here about half an hour just going through some of the events.
Yeah, she's a nice lady. You know, like, you know, if you're sick, she brought you down some soup.
Because I remember when I had Dale, she came down with lasagnas, and that's the sort of person she was.
And she was a classy lady too.
Yeah.
And so she was a classy, really nice neighbour.
Yeah.
Beautiful lady.
Murray Nolan still goes to Boulders Beach for a look and often a surf most days, and he usually sees his former neighbour John Winfield down there. Sometimes they paddle for the same wave. At other times they'll look out over the water from the car park and talk about what the weather might bring. Murray liked Bronwyn a lot. He cannot avoid what he believes is the truth, but it's not in his nature to avoid and ostracise John.
John is perfectly civil and friendly to you.
Yes, I'll still see him every day. I spoke to him this morning. Okay, John, how are you? Bit windy, you know, swells up, you know, usual surfing sort of talk. But I see him, you know, I reckon probably 9 days out of 10 I see him.
Where did you see him this morning?
I was just checking the surf where I went surfing.
But does John know what you suspect he has done?
Yes, I threw him under the bus at the coroner's inquiry. My role was to tell the truth.
And he's never raised that with you?
No.
And you just get on and talk to each other as if nothing's happened?
Yeah, he's fine with me.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah, like we're quite friendly. It's the funniest situation.
And what's your level of confidence that he did, in fact, kill Bronwyn?
99.9.
How about you, Deb?
Same. I'd 100. See, Murray has a nicer nature than I have. I'll stare him down, I won't speak to him.
Deb is spreading documents and photographs across the table for me to read and copy.
Yeah, there's a fair bit here I've got. That's my statement. Oh, that was Bronwyn there. That was a very good shot. That was one of my children's birthday party.
A service of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So this is dated July 2002.
Andrew wanted to have a bit of a memorial for her.
There was certainty that she was dead. I might photograph all these.
You can. Yeah.
It's a small community, relatively.
Yes.
But he stayed here the whole time.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think of that? Does that suggest that perhaps he's got nothing to hide, he's not running away, he loves this place, he knows he's done nothing wrong?
I also think that he's very insular as well. He doesn't speak to that many people.
I don't know what the outcome of all this will be. What's your hope?
My hope, and the hope of many who knew and loved Bronwyn, is that new and illuminating facts emerge as a result of this podcast series. Something that might finally resolve this sad, cold case. If Bronwyn went away, as John Winfield says, where and with whom did she go? If Bronwyn has been dead all these years, as a former Deputy State Coroner ruled, how did Bronwyn die, and who, if anyone, bears responsibility for her death? And where is her body? I have approached John Winfield and asked him for an interview. John's side of the story is very important. John has always emphatically denied any role in any foul play. So far, John has declined to speak to me on the record or on background. I'm going to keep trying because he hasn't ruled it out. In an email to me on May 21, 2024, John stated, I have previously made a sworn statement in 1998 in which I answered 415 questions. And as I said to George Radmore in 2010, I stand by these answers I gave. Those are John's words from his email. It's not his voice. He answered questions in a 1998 interview he agreed to do in Ballina Police Station. Soon after, the then Detective Sergeant Glenn Taylor had started to investigate Bronwyn's case properly for the first time. 12 years later, in 2010, another experienced detective, George Radmore, who was with the Homicide Squad of New South Wales, led a re-investigation. In John Winfield's email to me on the eve of the release of this episode, he said he might bring legal action, depending on the content of this podcast series. And John added, there is a generational history of mental illness, both male and female, in the Reid family. Now, Kim Marshall in Tasmania was the first member of Bronwyn's family to contact me. That was back in 2018. Kim has been a terrier with the help of her half-brother, Andy Reid, in finding decades-old documents and evidence from the case.
And Andrew has a box packed away and Crystal has a box packed away. Andrew has got masses of stuff, boxes that are in ceilings and boxes that are stacked, all that type of business. And I love rummaging and getting everything together and putting in some type of chronological order for you.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So I've asked them both to try and get access to their boxes, but I dare say it's going to be me physically being the hunter and gatherer, getting there and going about my business.
Well, that sounds really good, Kim.
You're near the pickup point. We suggest contacting and waiting for the rider.
About from the start of our contact, finally materialised. Bronwyn's eldest daughter, Crystal, had them.
Crystal has all the original statements in full, which is what Andrew's been looking for a very long time.
Hello. Good, thank you. How are you? This is the shortest pickup. I was here. Just, what is that?
It was showing within 2 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it's showing 2 minutes. I just parked here. Yeah.
It's not even 2 minutes. It's just maybe 40-50 seconds.
Yes, again. I didn't even start the car. It's like